Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another reaction and review. And this is to the last Mickey cartoon to come out so far, which is Roll 'em. And I know this is a Mickey mini cartoon, so I'm already really looking forward to it. Now, already from the thumbnail, it's like an old film reel, which is really awesome. And it says in a brief description, Mickey Mini race to capture a runaway film reel as it wreaks havoc around a big Hollywood movie studio. Already I'm excited for this because I'm wondering if this is a reference to like Disney's old past from the from like 30s, 40s, etc. And I'm wondering about the time period that this is also set in. I know this is going to be cute, so let's go ahead and check it out because I'm really curious about this one. And just from the title, I can already tell I'm going to love it. So let's go ahead and jump in. Roll 'em. Start video on 3, 2, 1, play. Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh, Minnie looks adorable like that. That's...
Got your hoagies, boss! What, cut! You dare interrupt my film?
Oh gosh!
One more peep out of you, and you're fired. That goes for you too, Maiden 14. Stay on your mark. Now places and action!
Uh-oh.
Gotcha!
Oh!
Thought you needed help.
Oh no, we're still rolling!
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on here. Godzilla! I'm wondering if there's gonna be a Little Mermaid reference right here. Ow. I already love this cartoon. It's definitely one of my most favorite ones.
Walking, rabbit, walking, run.
I got it! I got it! I ain't got it!
Uh-oh.
We're saved!
Whatever will we do?
What heroes do. Save the day.
That works.
And action!
That's very unique.
It's got to be the king!
Cut! Off to the screening room.
We better get out of here fast.
What the? How in the...
So, you thought you could escape after what you done? I'm gonna make you my newest star. Such range, such nuances.
So we're
Okay.
not fired?
Not a chance. You two will be the toast of show business.
Really?
Oh wow! Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, I freaking love this cartoon. Oh my freaking gosh, I freaking love this cartoon. Oh good heavens, I love this cartoon. There's so much going on in this cartoon. I love it. This is definitely one of my most favorite of the Mickey. Like this is one of my most favorite of all the Mickey shorts. This is absolutely genius. This is pure genius in every single aspect. Now there's a lot to talk about this cartoon. First off, it's very, very unique to actually see a cartoon that actually features Mickey and Minnie in Hollywood. We don't get to see that often. Most of the cartoons and even the comics portray, well, comics portray them to live in Mouston. Um, the comics, or the cartoons, generally portray them to be living in Burbank. Uh, and sometimes you'll see little references to Hollywood in some of the cartoons, but it's not often. Most of the time, most of them, like 90% of them, portray the characters to be living in California, in Burbank. And even one of the newer Mickey cartoons here showed that with the map. Um, However, some of the other Disney material, storybooks, things like that, show the characters to live in Toontown, which is basically in California, in LA. So most that we see. However, it's not often. This is very seldom done, where we actually get to see the characters like in Hollywood on a movie set, and they're kind of playing a part, and we see references to their past, and we get to see that. This is a very interesting take on their life. And there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I love it because of it. This is such a genius cartoon. There's so much enrolled in this one short 3-minute 56-second cartoon. There's so much going on in this cartoon, and I freaking love it. There's so much genius material in this. Like I said, it's not often we get to see the characters in this particular trope, in this particular setup. So to see this particular gimmick play out is very unique. It's very seldom done, and it's definitely an interesting concept. The only other cartoon that I remember directly that showed anything of this nature was in the House of Mouse cartoon. I forgot the title of the cartoon, but it was the black and white cartoon. It was the modern animated black and white cartoon where Mickey and Minnie seemingly meet. Mickey's like Mortimer's dance partner, and they're on their way to Hollywood in that cartoon. That was a very genius cartoon whenever it was made, and it's a very interesting setup at the time, of course, because it's not often something that you get to see with that. This right here is very interesting, and it's the only other thing that has been done like that I can name off the top of my head. We actually get to see the characters. It's a pretty meta look on the characters' lives. Instead of portraying them in the normal, regular lifestyle, non-Hollywood based, it's just a regular day-to-day lifestyle with the normal cartoon character hijinks. This time, we actually get to see the characters put that they were on a movie set, and this was a very interesting and very awesome setup. It was a lovely gimmick, and to see the characters put on that set and see them in Hollywood and to be part of that and to see how that goes about, it's very interesting to see that, and it's like an interesting take on their life. And you can look at this cartoon and say and wonder, is this like how it started for them? Was Minnie originally like, it's an interesting thought process. I mean, you can look at this cartoon and wonder about that. I mean, it's an interesting take. And with the characters, there's several different versions of how you can imagine the characters came into being. The first way is the normal way. I mean, just like normal people. They had parents. They were little kids at one point, and now they are eternally young adults. That's what you can look at. Or you can look at it like, I mean, it depends on the overall media, on the story itself. Other times you can look at them and say they're cartoon characters. They are eternally young. Cartoon characters, they don't age. And then you can also look at it like they were created by Walt. Or you can look at it like the other black and white cartoon and like this cartoon. that was there a point in time where they were just kind of living normal lives, and they somehow they made it to Hollywood, and they were actually able to get a part. Boom, here it came into being. There's a lot of different ways, and that right there is an interesting concept to look at. And again, I love the genius concept of putting them into Hollywood like that, and it's an interesting take on their lifestyle. And another thing that I also want to point out is the completely equal part that Minnie plays in this cartoon. Oftentimes, we see just one character having some sort of hijinks. We see most of the time it's Mickey who ends up having the hijinks. I mean, Minnie has had some hijinks herself. But if you think about it, I think Mickey has had probably more hijinks than Minnie has. And that's probably, though, to its credit, that's because there has been more Mickey cartoons than there has been Minnie cartoons. From 1928 to 1953, there was a lot more Mickey cartoons than there were Minnie cartoons. Minnie had very few of her own cartoons, and so the hijinks that Minnie had were few and far between. However, through Disney Comics, Minnie has had a few other hijinks herself, so you could say, I mean, but the comics also continue with Mickey, so overall, with the cartoons and the comics, you can probably say that still Mickey has had more hijinks than Minnie has. But Minnie has shown to have her own hijinks as well, her own little situations. And to see both characters experience similar things and to go through similar problems in this. It's cute, it's sweet, and it's fun to see both characters experiencing something like that. And to have just one character experience it and the other one not, it's more funny that they're both experiencing it at the same time. It's a lot funnier to see them actually experiencing that. And I love how that both characters here were on par with each other, and they were working together. Too many times, and I mean no disrespect to the writers of other Disney cartoons, I mean no disrespect to that, and I mean no disrespect to the writers of Disney comics. I mean, I freaking love the Disney cartoons, I love the Disney comics, but I love this cartoon especially for one particular concept, and that is that Minnie actually put forth the effort to help Mickey. She followed him and was willing to help him. How many times have we seen, there have been too many times actually, in cartoons whenever Minnie just simply stayed behind and did not do anything. And that's one of my nitpicks about Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I know Minnie can kick butt. I know she's a strong female character. Give her a freaking Keyblade. She can kick some freaking heartless butt and nobody but. She can do that. But no, because of the story, she's limited to just staying at the castle, not doing jack crap. And I know she's got a lot more potential than that. I know she can kick some freaking butt. And I would love to see that. But we're not going to. We have to just rely on Mickey. And so that's why in this cartoon especially, I love the fact, and there have been Disney comics as well, and cartoons, where Minnie showed her own prowess, where Minnie showed that she can kick butt, and I love those. And I love this cartoon here because Minnie actually chased after Mickey and told him, I thought you would need some help. And so she was willing to help him. She did help him. She did not just stand there and say, Mickey, go get it. No, she followed him. She was willing to help him. And I love that they did that. And so to the writer especially, thank you for actually giving Minnie a good role, stepping her up, and letting her work with Mickey in this cartoon. And also thank you for letting them experience similar hijinks together, because it's cute, it's sweet, and it's more comical to see that. And so to the writer especially, thank you for writing this cartoon the way that you did. I love it, and I wish more cartoons and comics and games would do this sort of thing. I seriously freaking do. And that's one of the things I love about this. And there's a lot of other little gimmicks in here as well. And again, there's the interesting story. Like I said, I honestly love this cartoon. This is one of my most favorite of the new Mickey cartoons. because just the setup, and it's adorable. It's an adorable Mickey Minnie cartoon. It's sweet, it's fun, it's hilarious, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this particular cartoon. And I'm going to discuss some of the different things that we experienced in this cartoon. Now, I'm going to go over several different aspects about this cartoon, and I'm going to kind of break in between the normal way that I do things. Now, first off, we have the opening, which is the basic old-timey film reel concept, which is a very interesting opening. And we see a nice, merry little ye olden style concept here, with some different people dancing and having a nice little ball. There are some really good references in this cartoon, like I said. In the beginning, we have the king from the old 1933 Disney cartoon, Ye Olden Days. The king who played Minnie's father in that particular cartoon as well. An interesting reference to that. And Minnie's also here. Interesting to see that. And now there's a gimmick that I'm going to talk about here. We see these princesses. We see Minnie here trying to kind of be a part of that role. And then we see these wolf arrowmen come in from Robin Hood. We see these guys come in, break through the windows from Disney's Robin Hood, and the director tells, of course, the director yanks Mickey away and tells Minnie to get back to her post here, and she gets behind the ham, giving the ham mouse ears. But there's an interesting gimmick here. Mickey stands on this crate next to the camera as he watches Minnie perform, and so I'm wondering about the gimmick here. There's an interesting setup that I'm kind of curious about, and it would make for really good fanfic fuel too. Is it obviously Mickey and Minnie already know each other? Originally, I was wondering if like Minnie was like the star. At first, I was wondering if Minnie was like the star of this cartoon, and Mickey was like the crew guy that had an infatuation with her. Maybe she knew of his infatuation with her, and she was just kind of shy about it, possibly kind of flirting with him. Or if maybe they did kind of have like an offset relationship kind of deal. However, due to later Minnie, and that would make an interesting concept, I think. Of course, because Minnie addressed Mickey normally in this cartoon, and she did also try to help him, and they tried to flee Hollywood later. Obviously, they know each other, so there's an interesting setup here. Is how exactly did Minnie get this role, and how did Mickey get the job on set as part of the crew? There's an interesting story here. Like, did Minnie audition for this part, and she got it, and so she and Mickey both went to Hollywood. Mickey got a job on set, working for the crew, or was Mickey possibly already working there, and Minnie ended up auditioning, and she got the part? There's an interesting thing. There's an interesting story here to go. The funny thing is, at this point, whenever Mickey accidentally pulls this film out, and there's an interesting concept, is because the film is like the old roll of film here, and whenever it begins to hit Mickey in the face, Minnie's expression, she sees it, and she's like, want to panic, like, boy, what did you do? Then this little gimmick, whenever Mickey watches this roll away, that look of panic on his face is just hilarious. And then he looks back to Minnie like, I done goofed, I screwed up. And then Minnie whispers and tells him, go get it. Interesting thing here, Mickey runs out and on stage 14, and we see some other sets behind in the background. We see we see some palm trees right here in the background. We see stage 14, and I'm wondering if that's just a generic number that they chose, or if possibly there is a possibility that Disney does that. Maybe this is the actual stage number of one of the buildings that Disney does use. And I'm wondering also about these wooden sets in the background, if these could be just generic, or maybe they were featured in another Mickey cartoon that I forgot about, or if maybe these could be a bit of a tiny reference to maybe Disney's old Wild West shows. But the cool thing here, of course, is Mickey manages to catch the film, and Minnie runs out to help him and crashes into him. She runs out and she tells him that she tells him that she thought he could use some help. And so they chase the really, again, like I said, the really awesome thing is that they chase after this film reel together. Minnie doesn't just tell Mickey, "You go get it." She actually goes with him to help. And this is a very interesting thing. We see some different films which are being filmed. We see a superhero kind of thing which is going on. We see these giant fans, of course, and this guy gets twisted up, and that's comical. That's really comical. Then we also get to see another, again, we see a reference. We see this movie set up with the Martian mastermind from Disney's old cartoon Mars and Beyond, and we see this woman facing off against it, kind of like Alien, which is, I just looked up, that's, it's like Alien, supposedly, and very interesting setup here. I love that they brought that back, and the mice run in, crushing the alien underneath this big freaking door. And then Mickey runs across this other film set where these little planes are flying around, and very much a reference to Godzilla. Very interesting with how they did that. And then there's another set where Minnie runs, and there's another scene where Minnie runs onto the set. And I thought there was going to be like maybe a Little Mermaid reference here, but I think it's interesting that Minnie, like, again, that's what I said before, Minnie doesn't do everything like gracefully in this cartoon. She's a lady, but she doesn't do everything gracefully. She tries to dive into the water, and instead of landing majestically, she smacks the water and just kind of sinks down in it. She's definitely not majestic like like we would normally see, and I love the fact that they kind of portrayed that with her. And then another little reference, here's Mickey standing over here with a Donald floaty. Here's Mickey standing over here with a Donald inner tube. That's really cool. And Mickey gets his head crushed in, and that little got it. It's freaking hilarious. And then this moment whenever, of course, the mice see the big fan. And again, I love the fact that all this is happening to the mice together. Like, they're both experiencing this, and it's not just one thing that has happened. Like, it's not just to one of them. It's both of them, and I love the fact that they're doing that. And again, we see this nice little background set here. We see these two little campers back here with the stars on them. These are like the star campers. You might could say one of these is Minnie's, possibly. We see again the AMC AMX right here on the lower bottom, and another car over here, a little 4-door setting there. Yeah, it isn't often that you see the mice, both Mickey and Minnie together, experience the pain together like that. It isn't often that you see that, but I love the fact that that happened. And it's interesting. I thought this was going to be a Disney's Hercules reference here, and it kind of, I mean, it's like the ancient Romans here. The mice are on this Roman set, and here we see this race happening, and this very interesting thing where Minnie goes into the dramatic thing of what shall we do, and Mickey, trying to look like a hero, like dips Minnie and says, and his hat is like covering his eyes, and he's trying to be heroic, like he says what heroes do, save the day. And instead of Mickey going completely bad A here, which is what I was expecting, instead Mickey gets the horse to stop, which flings the guy, just flings him, like, screw him, he's probably dead. I wondered at first how they were going to do that, but instead of the horse running forward, the horse then backs up. And I love that they replayed the sound in reverse here to really enhance that feature. Very, very interesting how they did that. And it's interesting that whenever, it's a little thing, but whenever Mickey manages to get the film put back, we see Minnie with this, like, this relaxed kind of expression on her face. And it's adorable here that then Mickey holds out his hand to Minnie. And again, they're working together, and she takes his hand, and I love that little thing. Like, it's so cute. It's cute. I love the fact that this happens and they experience this together. It's very, very cute. And some of the things that we see here, which makes you wonder about this film, we see these court jesters and a dragon. Very curious and wondering about that. And then this director says about the screening room, and at this point, whenever the director says about the screening room, then Mickey and Minnie realize we are royally effed. And Mickey's like, let's get out of here. Let's ditch. Somehow, I'm wondering how the heck was all this filmed? The director's all this. And this is an interesting thing here because here we have the movie studio. We see the mice running out, and this is very interesting here because here we see the mice running out of the movie studio. And it's a typical gimmick because you see the lot, the security guard booth, and it's very cute that you see the mice running out with the old gimmick style of like a stick with like a little sack on the back of it. And they run out to this, what looks like a 70s looking taxi. It looks like the 70s checker taxi. So this is not set back in the 1930s or 40s. But it's interesting here, the mice are trying to, like, let's ditch this because we're screwed. We have to get the heck out of Dodge. And they're both trying to flee. Like, they're both, I think it's on, I think it's cute that both are like, suddenly they're on the run, they're on the lam. And this guy kicks this taxi out of freaking nowhere, and the mice are just standing there ready to dodge. Car blows up, the guy's probably dead. The director catches him, and it's interesting right here that the mice are both in a bit of both in a state of panic. And then whenever he reveals that he's going to make them stars, the mice are just kind of standing very uneasy. That's very cute. And there's a moment here where they're like, really? I love this little gimmick. It's really hilarious. And we see this nice poster, which is the intro, of course, of the mice, and wearing this very suave, very fancy attire. I do say so. And we see some very interesting setups in the back here. We see the mice walking through the audience, and Mickey's wearing a tuxedo. Minnie's wearing this very lovely strapless blue gown, and with a flower on her hip. And it's an interesting thing here to look in the background. We see some references. We see, and this is obviously like a movie or a cartoon premiere, but some interesting things to look in the background. We see Mickey with the Wild West look. This probably could be a reference to Two Gun Mickey. We see Minnie with the same dress that she had on in this particular cartoon up under the Hollywood sign. So they might have made Minnie the star with that particular cartoon. And then beside that, we see Mickey with a dragon head. We see a dragon with a Mickey head. That's interesting. And then over on the left, we see a picture of Minnie standing. We see a poster of Minnie swimming. We see Mickey with a Roman outfit, which is cute. And then we see another one over here on the side. Actually, I realize what the gimmick is here. I realize the gimmick here. Every single one of these posters are the different films that the mice went through. This is every single one. The dragon is supposed to be Godzilla. It's Mickzilla. The Ye Olden Days kind of a cartoon that they were doing there. Minnie's a star of that now. Here we have the Western Mickey. This was the background that we saw. The Old West style wooden buildings. We saw that in the background. Then the fancy pool fountain thing. Minnie's a star of that. The Roman film, Mickey's a star of that. And then over on the far left, we see Mickey in the same superhero costume as the other superhero. So it's like Mickey and Minnie suddenly, it's like they were in all these. And then we see these tiny little posters of Mickey and Minnie, which is adorable, in between the superhero and the Roman. You see this little adorable little picture of Mickey and Minnie with their heads peeking out like in different directions, which is adorable. And again, this is a really cute cartoon. And it's an interesting setup for, like, is this how that they became famous? Is this what happened? It's a very interesting concept for that, and I absolutely love this cartoon. It's really cute, it's sweet, and again, I love the fact Oh, and I didn't notice that the mice kiss at the end. That's adorable. I didn't notice that the mice kiss at the end. That's adorable. That's so cute. That's adorable. I love that. That's adorable. And it's also cute because both mice instigate the kiss. It's like not one in particular, dude. It's like they're reading each other's minds. Their minds are both in sync, and their hearts. And they both move in for the kiss, like, come here, you. And boom, one little smack. And oh man, I just love this cartoon. Absolutely love this cartoon. This is definitely one of my most favorite of the Mickey cartoons. And absolutely love it. This is definitely one of my most favorite ones of the Mickey cartoons. So again, Disney, everybody that worked on this cartoon, I want to thank you guys so much, especially the writers, the animators, especially the writers. Thank you so much for doing this cartoon the way that you did. For writing the cartoon the way that you did, because again, it's not often that we get to see something like that. I especially love the fact that the writer that you had, Mickey and Minnie, that you had all these hijinks happen to both of the mice together, and that they both experienced it together, and that they did all this together. They were working together as a team, and I love that all this happened to them both and not just one individual one. And I love the fact that they were still in sync. They were still working together. They were still together. That little moment, simple little moment where Mickey turns back, holds his hand out to Minnie, she takes his hand, and then they're here, and then they both instigate the kiss. I love this. I love those little moments. So again, thank you for writing this cartoon the way you did. Thank you so freaking much. And the little references, everything. Thank you. And to the animators, voice actors, thank you so much for this cartoon. I absolutely love this. This is just genius. This is pure brilliance. So thank you. And also to everybody, hope you guys enjoyed as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks again for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.